The president raised a lot of valid concerns. China was not truthful with the world at the outset of this. Had they been more truthful with the world, which would have enabled them to be more truthful with themselves, they might have actually been able to contain this entirely. And there is some growing evidence to suggest that. As late as January 20th, they were still saying that there was no human-to-human transmission, and the WHO is validating those claims on January 14th, sort of enabling the obfuscation from China. I think going forward, the WHO needs to commit to an after-action report that specifically examines what China did or didn't tell the world and how that stymied the global response to this. I also think they need to embrace Taiwan's role in the global health community and allow them to attend the World Health Assembly. Right now, they've frozen China out. The WHO has at sort of the behest of China. And that's hampered the global response because China's been a very important partner. To give you just one more anecdote, China didn't share the viral strains, and the WHO should have made them do that. Had they shared those early on, we could have developed a diagnostic test earlier, validated it earlier.
Okay, so here you have former FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb, who is also one of the authors of that plan to reopen America that I've talked to you about. He's all over the place right now as somebody who's weighing in on this issue. In that soundbite, it was a little confusing. He's talking about an important issue, but he kept saying China, and sometimes he said China when he meant Taiwan. Taiwan wanted to tell the world more about what it was seeing, wanted to tell more to the World Health Organization. Taiwan was trying to raise the alarm bell early, but you know what? The WHO and other international institutions, they adhere to China's Taiwan as part of China policy, right? This irredentism, this obsession with Taiwan as part of the Chinese mainland. Taiwanese don't feel that way, but you know, China thinks of it as just an extension of its own sovereignty, its own territory. International organizations won't stick up to China on this one. You know, they won't. Remember when there used to be things like, you know, Tibetan Freedom, the concert, and there's all this stuff that was really about pushing back on Chinese aggression and Chinese domination of areas that were not Chinese. That's fading away. That's fading away because the media, because international institutions are scared of the Chinese government's influence and money and what it can do. This has been sneaking up on us. Trump knew this. Trump has been raising the alarm on this. He is right. Our entire China intelligentsia in this country, meaning people that study China and think tanks, and have been overwhelmingly wrong. They were telling us for the last 20 years or so, oh, this is great. Look at how cheap your flat screen TV is at Walmart because it's made in China. Oh, this is great. Look at how cheap your iPhone is. This is capitalism. This is how it works. Oh, no, there's a lot more going on than just that. We should have had more sophisticated thinking, but international corporations, major companies, the kind that write checks to think tanks, for example, they were all too happy to play along with this is a win-win for us. China sells us cheap stuff, a lot of it crappy, but China sells us cheap stuff, and we get to outsource all of our production, so companies get to make more money. Oh, and now we find out that there are more considerations than merely paying workers a lot less and driving up your stock price, that there are more things for a company to think about. Patriotism for corporations is, in fact, a consideration that we should all insist on, right? That should be the future in this country. I've talked about made in America, but it should also be caring about America. That patriotism for American companies should be a mandate. And that the stuff that we've seen where, for example, Google will have employees who won't work with American defense companies or won't work with the U.S. government trying to develop new technology to keep our soldiers safer, to make sure that we don't get, caught unaware on the battlefield. But the same employees in Silicon Valley and Google, they'll keep doing business in China if they can, while China is running the biggest surveillance operation the world's ever seen on its own people and everyone else who goes there. Patriotism matters. Patriotism matters. We have to do a rethink here about the approach that our companies take and what they're trying to do going forward. This is, I hope, a wake-up call on that front. Hey, Team Buck, thank you so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you like this video, please click that little thumbs up button so then it will log as liked. And also, if you want to see more great content from The First, please click subscribe.